Hey everybody, welcome to wrapping up the class on anatomy physiology. Today we're going over dynamic poses. And this is a hard one for me to actually think of how I would be able to teach dynamic poses because there's just so many possibilities. Before I go any further, Mr. Twinkle Pants Nelson, he's my partner, he's my handler, he's at the Buzz Cave doing all the voodoo that he does so well, doing all the equipment workings and goings on. So I want to say hi to you. Tip my hat, Mr. Nelson. How you doing?
Doing all right.
Good. And again, this is not our normal time. I appreciate everybody being here today. We had to switch it around a few times. I had a meeting last week we had to go to, then something fell through, and hey, we're here today, and we will wrap things up. I encourage everybody here to look at their first drawing from this class and go to where they're at now and see how far they've come in a very short amount of time. But today what we're going to do is talk about dynamic drawings. And what I find very unforgiving, that's the best word for it, are spot blacks. So what we're going to do is we're just jump in. We're not going to do a 5-minute drawing and anything like that. So my piece right here, my piece of paper on screen is 300 DPI and it's 30 by 60, so it's huge. That's all right. And so go ahead and make that on your Photoshop board. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with some spot blacks. Now, I just want to go through some different aspects and different, I guess, points of view on what actually does a dynamic pose make by starting out with something simple. So after you have 30 by 60, 300 DPI, I'm going to jump on in here. I have a normal brush selected. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a guy in a cape. I'm going to draw him twice. And I encourage you both to do it, all you guys to do both times with me. And literally, all I'm going to do, let me see. Bring this brush up. And I'm going to make almost like a rectangle. And through here, the back of the cape. And again, this is our spot blacks. So it's unforgiving because we don't have to put a lot of detail on here. So we have our base line of a cape. We'll put a little fold in here like this for some detail. And then where this individual's head's going to go, I'm going to be coming up through here like this. And as we did in anatomy physiology class, let's come down here, give him the jawline. And we'll have to spread this out a little bit through his cape to make his shoulders wider to justify the head. And we'll make this swooping down here like this. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my head because it's a bit big. Hit Control T, shrink it down a little bit, move it more here, hit Enter, hit Control D like that. That gives it a little bit better read. And so from here, we can't see his body, but he's going to have his feet, his legs come through here, down through here like this. And then we're going to have the bottoms where his boots, where his shoes would be at, turned slightly at an angle like this because we have his backside. And we'll put this one here, such down like this. And then we have an arm coming out here like this. And have a little glove on. And then we can put his hand in a balled fist like he's upset. I'm going to rule the world. And what I'm going to do here is select this like so, hit Control T, so I can bring this down, make it a little bit longer. There we go, that's a little bit better. Control D to deselect. Okay, we got a very generic dude in a cape, and I wanted to start off with something very simple like this. Because all we have is the backside, and the cape is a simple triangle or rectangle. All right, so what do we see wrong with this? Mr. Nelson, can you see anything wrong with this? Is this dynamic?
No, it's not moving.
you know, you really basically nailed it on the head. We're going to keep this guy right here. I'll tell you what we can do to do a shortcut. Actually, let me just go through it all again. I believe in being repetitive, and I think that's one of the best ways to learn. So what we're going to do here is we're almost making the same thing, but you're right. What I want to do is I want to see this cape moving, because it's a decent read, but if you want to do something dynamic in comics and you have feel and emotion, with cloth, man, you can do all sorts of stuff, because you're not restricted to like physical world and dynamics and weight and all that sort of stuff. So we're going to have some fun with it. I'm going to start out again with our basic triangle or rectangle through here. Let's go ahead and fill this in. But notice my rectangle is not that far down. It's almost to where his hips are at. I'm going to bring this in here like this. Come out here like so. And this can be his crotch-like area. We'll have to clean it up. Then we have his legs that come down through here. I'll have to do a lot of cleanup here. Here's my eraser. Okay, selecting the brush yet again, making a circle where my shoulders are going to go, like so. Bring this hand down here, circle where the arm's going to go. Forearm, balled fist. Let's go ahead and give him his head here. And we're going to do the eraser to clean up a little bit more things here so we can see a bit more of his shape. Like his pectoral region is right through this area, right through here. And now instead of like a flat cape, we can still mess around with some stuff up here to show that the cape is cool and has lots of folds in it. And bring it down to an angle like this. And where the butt's at, we can just jet it out here and almost stair step it down like so. And we fill this area in here like so. And then we have the back of the calves, his feet. Need to clean up the crotch a little bit because it's a little wide. So what we'll do is add this here, and then clean up this area through here a little bit more. And all I'm doing is taking my eraser and just adding a few bits of detail here and there. So with this, I guess, really quick gesture, really quick movement, already we're getting a better read because we're indoctrinating that cape into movement. And Nelson nailed it on the head. Dynamics means movement or the illusion of movement, because as artists, comic book artists, concept artists, it is our job to be able to capture the moment that's most dynamic. I mean, we just don't want some guy standing there, some guy picking his nose. If you're going to draw a guy or gal picking their nose, make sure it's knuckle deep, okay? You get that dynamics, dramatic moment. You're like, oh my God, it's knuckle deep. So, oh, is he itching his nose, scratching his nose? Sorry, taking a drink of Diet Sun Drop niceness. So let's get rid of these. Before I get rid of it, do we have any questions from the panel?
Nope.
So we'll get rid of these guys real quick here. So let me jump into this area right here, because I was talking about, you know, just a standing pose. Actually, let's do this. Let's start off with someone running. And again, we're going to just do the spot blacks, because I think, again, that's very unforgiving. And I don't want to say it doesn't take a lot of talent. You still need to know where things fall. let's do this. Let's draw our guy running. I'm going to start off with the chest area through here. Come down here to where the trunk of the body's at. Crotch area through here. Buttocks action coming down here. We have this leg here like this. We have this leg running right here. Little kneecap. The gastrocnemius. Oops, I don't like that at all. Have a little foot action going on. Kneecap through here. Again, it's kind of curving down. Let's throw this arm back here so we have some depiction of movement. Little area for the fist. This arm, the shoulder area would actually come through here like this. And we'll bring this up here, and then you have the head going on through here like that. And now it's not bad, but you have 3 axes, I like to call them 3 axes of movement, an extreme movement. And the first axis, and we'll get a different color here. We'll do a red, black and red Sith colors. The first axis of movement is this movement where, really? Allow me to adjust a few things. I don't want to grayscale. We'll do RGB. First axis right through here. Pretty humdrum. The other extreme, this axis through here. Really? Mr. Nelson, something's not working here. Shift. There we go. But the most extreme axis is this here and follows through here like this. So now if I was to take my little guy right here, should have done it in separate layers, and hit Control T. Actually, let's just do that. I don't think that's going to work for a shortcut, so let's just draw them out. I think that's a great idea, don't you, Mr. Nelson?
Sounds wonderful.
All right, select my brush again and my black color here. Now, again, first axis right here, pretty humdrum. But now if I decide that I want this angle like this, I'm actually going to bring the core of my body, my chest area, then my trunk area through here, my little bottom area through this, like this. So already you can tell he's not standing straight up, but he's coming at this extreme angle here. I still have my head going on this way here. I'll bring this arm back like this here. And this leg here will come out with a very sharp turn of the angle. Still see the gastrocnemius, the foot through here. And this last leg here will actually follow through on that guideline on the third axis. And of course, we do need to do some cleanup. I don't really like the head at all. So let's just get rid of controls, cut it out. Have the shoulder coming up through here. Circle for the cranium. And bald fist through here. And of course, you can do all sorts of cleanup and all sorts of fun stuff like that. But already, this foot right here is planted on the ground. It is depicting power. It's planted, it's moving, it's pushing forward, it's on that third axis, and it looks like you have more movement. So remember your axis lines. And the other thing we don't really have to worry about on dynamic poses is we're going to start talking about balance, how things are all equal and some things are not equal. Before I get rid of this, any questions from the panel?
Nope.
That will be no. All right, just so you guys know, I will be asking to see your screens. And we'll take our time on this next one, okay? Let's see. Let's draw. I'm thinking, and I'm looking. Let's draw a chick, like hovering, per se. We're going to come back over through here. Get my brush stroke up. Again, spot black's just supposed to be down quick to get ideas. Her trunk area right through here. Her leg. And that stinks. Leg out here like this. Kneecap. Her other leg. Coming down here like this. A little foot. And this is really nothing special. It's pretty crude, actually. But it looks like she's balancing, or it looks like she's hovering. It almost looks like she's doing a dance pose. But again, looking at the center axis line, if you come down here, if I can get it to go right there. There we go. She's way off balance. The ideal thing is, especially if she's going to be planted on one foot, and let's actually take my time on this one. What we want to do is have that straight line. Let's go ahead and make a red line right here. Straight line like this. And again, we're looking for balance. I'm going to come up through here. I'm going to make her core area. Come down here where her trunk's at. Her hip, and this straight line here is actually going to help me center, no pun intended, everything where she will have balance. Foot, remember we talked about the foot and the arch and all that. And come back through here. In the back of her foot, I'll go ahead and draw through because I encourage you guys to draw through. Like this. Her head through this area right here, and then this is where her breast area go. Shoulder here, and then for balance, face like that. So then you know all the blackness, all the spot blacks coming through here. Whoop. See how much better this looks, even as crude and as rude as it's done. She has that center axis line. I really want to encourage you guys to watch your axis lines when it comes to doing dynamics. You always have to keep in mind balance and power, where things are going, what's driving them. And then you also have to ask, how realistic do you want things to do? Do you want these, you guys and gals as you're drawing, jumping off walls and climbing up walls, or are you going to do more hyper-realistic sort of thing? A couple more things I want to show you before we start drawing in depth. So get rid of this. Edit. Cut. Let's see. Take this guy here. This is, excuse me, actual card art that needs to be colored. Control T. I'm going to shrink him down a little bit. Now, if I just would have put this guy straight like this, Control D, let's hit the eraser tool. literally this is a blank card. Now you can see these X's right through here. This is where all the shadows and drop shadows and spot blacks undergo. This is a very dark, sinister guy. But as a penciler, I mean, a lot of times I will go in and I'll do all the shadows where I want. But when you're doing 241 cards in a very short amount of time, you take shortcuts. So I'm putting X's where the inker needs to know to put all the shadows. But this is a pretty plain pose. It's kind of a cool pose. I mean, he's floating. And, I thought, oh, well, maybe I could just put, some shadow stuff over here, like, oh, look, he's floating. That would have been cool, too. But not as dynamic as I want it, or the cards deserve. It's amazing what you can do with the tilt of the camera. And remember, we're basically our own directors, or your art director's going to say, I need it this angle. I had somebody just yesterday say, I like this, but I don't like that angle. I need a bird's eye view. And you really have to get used to drawing whatever you're told to draw and learn it sometimes on the fly. So what I did with this card, by just tipping the angle, I tipped him around like this, because this is our format. This is the way every card has to go. I don't have any choice about that. So I have this here, and then I put my ground at a close-up at an angle like this. So it draws the viewer's eye in, and it's different and it's more dynamic. And all we did is basically reposition a few things. So again, going to my panel, do we have any questions?
Nope.
Does anybody want to volunteer us looking at any of your spot blacks that you've done?
Just go ahead and raise your hand if you want us to jump into your screen.
Interactive class, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot help you if I don't see what's going on, because I definitely want to see what's going on. Okay, let's skip to the next one. Again, talking about action. Let me get a blue color right here. Now this one is a shadow clan. So she's going to be dwelled in deep purples and blacks. And everything about this is supposed to be screaming movement and speed. And what I did, again, watching my axis, you have your center line here, a halfway decent center line here, and then the most powerful thing could have been over here. So she's somewhere in the first or the second to third axis, which isn't bad. I think it's still a pretty damn good read. Let's get rid of this area right through here, create another layer. So what I did was I shifted her shoulders. This is where the shoulders are going to go. I knew her breast area is going to go through here, so that makes where the crotch is going to go through here. Now she has a dress on, and again, this is supposed to be sporadic, blurred sort of movement. But what I had to do is I know my pelvic bone goes through here like this, so I know my leg comes through here like this. Now you're not going to be able to see her kneecap and the bottom of her calf, but you will be able to see her foot. So with that said, we got her right leg done here. So I needed to be able to draw her left leg. I brought it at an angle like this. Knee bone, patella would be through here. Calf area, her foot like this. And at this particular angle, her head's going to fall in through here. And that's where you get the shoulder bone. Now, ideally, from here to here, I've always preached, it's the same size as from here to here to your elbow. But at the same time, what I really wanted to do is exaggerate parts of her body to give that movement or the illusion of quick movement. So I did elongate her arms and then made these closer to the camera. And her arms and her hand would be coming through here like this. Now she has the ability to teleport and move very fast. So what I wanted to do is I actually, this is 3 different drawings. Drew a dagger here, one very close to it going this way to give that illusion, and then another dagger here where it would look like it's moving, vibrating super fast. And then again, for dynamics, I thought about maybe putting her arm out here like this, but I really wanted to have that wavy hair, because just like the cloth in the beginning of the class, or like, well, that's good, but let's utilize that cloth. Let's do something cool. So I knew if she was going to be moving this way, I wanted the hair to be flying that way to indicate movement. So I had fun with the hair, just flew it all through here. If I would have put her arm through here, it just would have made a bad read. So I made it to where her shoulder is back through here. And then I can have a very nice read of all three, or it's actually just one dagger, and through here like that. And again, it captures all that movement. We'll take the opacity down a little bit so you can kind of see what's going on. And then I drop some shadow down through here. And the colorist, again, this is all going to be purples and blacks and maybe some sort of like red. Think of kind of like Nightcrawler meets Drow elves, where they're fast, they can teleport, and they're dark, deadly, and dangerous. So that's what I was doing with this one. So the people in class, I want you to volunteer. I want to see something that you've drawn real quick. Or tell you what, we'll do a draw along. How's that? Then I want to take one of your screens. And what we'll do is, we'll go ahead and take this image here, since you've seen how I just basically dissected it. Try to have the right level. Edit, copy, bring it back over here, edit, paste, Control T to bring it up so we can see it. What I'm going to do here is come to my images, adjust, go to my levels, make it a little bit darker for everyone to see. All right, so this is going to be a draw along phase, and I do want to see screens after this. You got to volunteer, all right? And I'm going to start out with a blue. Let's bring my screen up here just a little bit as such. There we go. So like I said, I started out with her chest cavity. Just like in class, I draw an area like this because this is where sternum's going to go. Bring out this to her rib cage, and I always make my women really curvy. This is where the breast area are going to go through here. Actually, you know what? Let's make a different layer. How's that? Let's erase all that. Sorry about that, Mr. Nelson. I started talking about breast and got all excited. Imagine that. Let's go make another layer on top here. Let's go back to our brush. So making the chest cavity through here like this. This is where her stomach is going to go. We have the roundness here, and a woman's pelvic area jets out like so. I know my leg is going to come down here like this. So let's give you guys a chance to catch up. Again, this is the chest area. Right through here is where the stomach is at. Crotch area and one leg. And again, I always start with midsection so I know I can fit it all on the piece of paper. That's back in the day when you had to do everything by hand, but with the Control T tool, you know, selecting and moving things around and shrinking this or that on Photoshop, it's so powerful, you can afford to mess up and it doesn't take a lot of time. Again, doing the chest area, rib cage pinches in, and then her hip, pelvic area, and her leg. So I already stated that you really can't see the bottom of her calf. And what I'm trying to depict here are Ninja Tabby boots. So she has something like this going on through here. Now, because of this knee area, from here to here, that's, you know, 2 heads long. We need like 2 more heads long from over here, because I like to, again, kind of exaggerate my drawings. So I'm going to come through here like this. It's a little thick. Coming through here like this. Circle from my kneecap is at. My calf muscle through here. And then it's almost like a duck foot. So we have the rib cage where the sternum is at. Comes through here, pinches. You have your pelvic region you have where your kneecap, your leg, this comes out here like this. And then what I did was for my shoulder regions, shoulder will be here. I'll have a little bit of hint of a breast right here. You're not really going to see it so much over here because of the way her clothes are all hanging. Let's go ahead and make her face. Face area is going to go through here. It's dipping down because of the way her movement is. Her neck muscle, latissimus dorsi, would be back behind her like this, and her other shoulder would be back here. So then I bring from here to here. Again, usually your head length is from here to here, and that's how long your arms are at. What I did is I decided to bring it down and elongate it a little bit. Kind of attach like this. I elongated this as well for her hands. And then this other hand back through here. Most people should not be able to move like this, but again, we don't have a lot of rules because, I mean, who else can teleport and all that cool stuff? So that's the basic framework of all this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this opacity down. I'll create another layer on top of it, and we'll come back with a darker color to look at or to use. So using this as my framework, they said they wanted a lot of mask. So I came in through here, gave her kind of the Jason hockey mask sort of thing going on. Got some eyes. Some sort of markings right through here. I need to move that eye over a little bit. I like pointed ears, so let's have pointed ears, little spots on the mask, little crow-like symbols from the comic book, because I'm a huge fan. And all this is through here is breaking up all the blacks and the purples that are going to go on this person's body. And since this is my frame up, this is when I can come back and do a lot of cool stuff and fix some of the things I may not be super happy with. Her belt will go through here, wraps around here like this, small indicator of that. And I start putting parts of her dress on here. You know what? It's not the same here. These jet out like this. Then she can have some spiked areas on where her boots are at. Leg. Foot. Some big spiky shoulder pads that come down here. And again, it looks like they're being elongated because of her bending time. Spikes for her gauntlet. So her knuckles will go. So I draw one huge dagger this way. Now it's supposed to be the same dagger. Like this. And then I'll put another one on top like this. It's okay to draw through because it's supposed to symbolize real quick movement. So I have her hand over through here like that. And I have one dagger here, and just two movement lines through here like this. And then you have fun with her hair. You turn off the slayer through here, and you start to see basically what we just drew up here. Now, granted, this looks a lot better over here because it took a little bit more time than the 2 minutes it took here. But that's how I did that. If you look at the axis again, you have 1, 2, and 3. So again, she's more on that third axis of a lot of power through here this time around. And what you do is you just make 2 to 3 passes and refine, 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 and refine. So with that, I like to see someone's screen. You don't have to be all the way done. We'll give you more time if need be. But does anybody want to volunteer their screen so we can look and critique?
So just go ahead and raise your hand. I'm not seeing any hands. Tough crowd.
It's a tough crowd today. I know you don't work with kids or animals.
Oh, Leonard's here. But
Hold on one second. One second. Hey, sorry about that small hiccup. Tornadoes, wild weather, you know, it's all around us right now. So I'm actually going into my little bunker, the hole that I dug with a spoon yesterday because I couldn't sleep. If it smells like dirt, it's a scratch and sniff program. Take a big whiff. There's mud and dirt all around us. Moving along, though, for illustrative purposes, I did ask any volunteers to show their screen what they've gotten so far so I can critique it and we can talk about it and move, you know, things around. And I know Leonard's here, so Leonard, I'm going to pick on you.
He says he's at work without his tablet.
Leonard, you stink. I love you anyway. Anybody else want to volunteer here? If not, we will continue to move forward, and I will assume that you know everything.
Ooh, we have a hand.
Hey, good hand.
Mr. Miguel.
Hey, Mr. Miguel, I missed you last night. Were you in the MMO class? Hello? Oh boy, this is a tough night, isn't it, Mr. Nelson? Are you there? Mr. Nelson, are you there?
I'm here. He just can't talk.
Okay. Well, Mr. Miguel, I'd love to take your screen and look at you. Oh, here it is. I'm sorry. I pushed the wrong button. I am a total dork. Hey, not bad for, you know, depicting movement. She looks like she's a happy little girl. Now, her face is a little bit small. You know what? I'm really proud of you for volunteering. You got the crotch and the breast area. I like to see what you can do with the hair. But again, you're on that third axis, which is good, which is depicting power. The other gripe that I'd have at you, her back hand would be her left hand. At a straight angle like that, it needs to be more out, again, to elongate, like she's moving so fast, her weight's dragging her hand right behind her. But really good job, very good attempt, because I'm kind of moving along fast. So well done. Get your mic fixed and you get back into my MMO class. Woo! Look at that. Really good. Okay, except the dude's first foot, you have his toes backwards. Yeah, the calf muscle's a little bit big, but literally, if you were to cut that out and invert it, it may work. But your big toe's always on the inside. Your thumbs really depends on how your hand's moving around. That's usually the best rule of thumb, no puns intended. So, but really good job. I love the upper body and the obliques. Really good looking stuff. Any more homework to do, Show? All right. We'll keep it up, and I'm proud of you for volunteering. And that's all, folks. You're welcome, sir. Do we have any more volunteers?
Doesn't look like it.
I'm sorry, what?
No.
All right, tell you what we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen. We're not going to take a break tonight. And we're going to call it my time at 5:30 so I can go get the kids in this crazy weather. We'll be canceling class a half hour early, and I apologize. But I can't handle the weather, and I don't want my wife going out by herself, so I do apologize. So no break. We're just continuing to move on. what we're going to do here is we're going to talk about hot women, because who does not like hot women? I mean, I can't think of anybody who doesn't like hot women. I love hot women. Breasts, I can say breasts because we're talking about breasts right now. What I do is we're going to start in the most simple pose, because we've already drawn a front view so many times of women, and we're just going to build upon this, okay? You can see how I shifted her around, hip shift, shoulder shift, breast area. What we're going to do is I'm going to come in here. Let me make sure my image first is not a grayscale, RBG. Flatten, that's fine. I'll make another layer on top so I don't muck it all about. And pick my blue. And if I come in here, I draw my rib cage. And this is a very simple pose, but it's nice. It's very sexy. The hip jets out like this. Her crotch area is in through here. And again, because this shoulder is shifted this way for a woman, and right, wrong, or otherwise, is what we depict as sexy and alluring. That shift is here. This hip shift is down here. Very hourglass-like shape coming here from the elongating her torso to where her hips are at. Nice, long, lean legs like this. Indication where her kneecaps can go. And then come down here like this. And notice, let me come back real quick. Like Miguel, what you did with your dude, you came down and just made one big calf muscle like that. You definitely want to avoid that when you're drawing women. You're going to bring one calf muscle out like this, the gastrocnemius, and it comes in, and then you have the other side is nice and straight. And you guys know what cankles are. You know what cankles are, Mr. Nelson, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ankles, they have no ankles. The girls we draw, you got to have slim ankles. You got to make sure that stuff tapers in. And then it's almost a triangle for a foot like this. Now, ideally, what I'm going to do is I'll get a red color so I can draw through my drawing to illustrate how important it is. This other calf muscles are coming through here like this. And then her foot come out like this. Now, you can't see that because their foot's in the way. But again, it's important to be able to draw that. And then our shoulders, almost will-o-wispy. And remember, if you're drawing an arm, here's your arm, bullocks. Really? My button is a bit sensitive today. If you got your deltoid coming through here, your arm bicep muscle does not go like this because it's not flexed. There's no reason for that, especially when we're drawing women. Now, having tone arms are good, but it's still nice and smooth. Women are nothing but smooth, beautiful lines. And you can come in through here like this, maybe not quite that sharp. That's where the elbow meets, and then you're all good to go. So over here is the same thing. We'll draw a little triangle for where the hand is at. And then your other shoulder is going to come through here. That arm goes behind her like this. Comes up like that. And of course you have her neck. And where her face would go. So that's a pretty simple pose to pull off. I think everyone's able and capable of doing that. That will not be a problem. So let's move over here. This is only a side profile. We've worked on the side profile too, but the only difference is we got some arm movement and the hips are shifted a little bit. What we're going to do is start with the midsection. Again, I always put my torso in here first, or my rib cage area, kind of elongated for where her torso is going to go at. Pelvic area, they match through here like this. You're going to come back down here like just where the kneecap's at. Follow it around where her buttocks is at. I like making a small bulbous bottom. And then I'm going to come here for my legs, and this is where my kneecaps are going to go. Now my shoulder is going to be up here. And again, we're not making the She-Hulk. So the arm for this particular pose, deltoid comes up like this, almost straight down. Then your elbow is going to pop out just a little bit like this, then it tapers in again. And then you have your hands that come through here like this. So that's what that's going to look like. And the other shoulder is back through here, but you still kind of want to draw through it. Same thing goes with this, neck, and face. Now again, we want to have ankles, not cankles. Kneecap, this is going to come back out, comes back in a little bit. Nice and straight. Gastrocnemius. And we'll do the whole standing on the tiptoe sort of thing. And through here like that. Looks like she needs to eat a cheeseburger, but that's the basic side pose. And you can make hers fit, thick, muscular, thin, whatever you want to do. And what we're going to do here is we're going to call it even a little bit earlier, unfortunately, than I want. We're going to do this last pose, and I got to wrap it up. And I apologize to everybody, Mr. Nelson including. Last dynamic pose. Rib cage comes through here. Elongated. Here's her hip. Goes to the other pelvic area. Ideally, this should be a little bit longer through here. But that's the top part of the leg. Your kneecap comes through here. And then you have a small indicator of her foot. And I really like to jet that hip out here like this. So you see her bottom. I really like to make that back arch a lot. Kneecap. Foot, again, kind of have a triangle area. Let's a little bit of foreshortening. You have your elbow or your shoulder through here. You can't really see the bicep and tricep. But again, like this elbow here jets out like this. It's going to jet up like that, come down. And then here's how I make my hands in this perspective. And then I can do something cool like that. And then bring my blade like she's holding it backwards. And then I have my other fist through here. And ideally you'd see a little bit of her elbow because the arm comes through here like that. Neck like this. And the head through here like this. This has been a very quick lesson, and I do apologize, but my wife handed me a note, more bad weather, worse weather is coming on our way. So I definitely got to go get my kids, and I apologize. Very, very sad to wrap it up this way. But please email me at 3dbuzz.com. I like to see at least 3 to 4 dynamic poses, and I promise you I will get back to you in person. I will email you, send you smoke signals or something like that. So I know we don't have another anatomy class per se, but I like to see what you're able to do because time has been so screwed up and short right now. Mr. Nelson, I apologize. Take us out of here. I've got a jet, okay?
Alrighty.
Thank you.